What if I told you that most chameleons in captivity aren't living there just surviving? And the difference between surviving and thriving is something you can build with your own hands. Today, I'm not just talking about a cage. I'm talking about creating an ecosystem. A living, breathing jungle. A space that looks like it was lifted straight out of Madagascar. This is the chameleon's garden. For centuries, reptiles have survived by adapting perfectly to their environments. In the wild, a chameleon doesn't sit on plastic vines under artificial decorations. It lives among moving leaves, shifting light, humid air, living roots, and microclimates that change throughout the day. Every branch has purpose. Every shadow means something. And when we bring a chameleon into captivity, we take responsibility for recreating that complexity. Historically, reptile keeping was simple. Glass tank. Heat lamp. Paper towel. Maybe a fake plant. That was considered enough. But as we learn more about reptile physiology, behavior, and stress responses, we realize something important. Reptiles aren't decorative pets. They are environmental specialists. Especially chameleons. Chameleons evolved in environments rich with vegetation. In Madagascar, Yemen, and parts of Africa, they live in forests and shrublands filled with layered plant life. The canopy filters sunlight. Leaves hold moisture. Insects move naturally through foliage. Air circulates freely. That complexity is not optional. It's survival. When you build a live plant enclosure, you're not decorating. You're recreating history. The first step is understanding space. Chameleons are vertical creatures. Height matters more than floor space. In the wild, safety is above ground. So your enclosure must be tall, well ventilated, and structured for climbing. Screen enclosures are often ideal because airflow prevents respiratory issues. Remember, stagnant air is the enemy. Now let's talk plants. Not all plants are safe. Not all plants are functional. The goal is to create layers. Strong anchor plants like pathos provide dense foliage and durability. Focus trees create structure and branching opportunities. Scheffler adds umbrella-like leaf coverage. Live plants help regulate humidity naturally. They hold water droplets for drinking. They improve air quality. They provide visual security. When your chameleon feels exposed, stress rises. When it feels hidden but aware, it relaxes. Live plants create that balance. Lighting is not just brightness. It is biology. UVB lighting replicates sunlight and allows proper calcium metabolism. Without it, metabolic bone disease becomes a real risk. Historically, poor lighting caused countless preventable health issues in captive reptiles. Today, we know better. A high-quality UVB bulb combined with a basking light creates a thermal gradient. That gradient allows your chameleon to choose its comfort zone. In nature, temperature isn't uniform. There are warm spots and cooler shaded areas. Your enclosure must mimic that. One basking branch placed strategically under the heat source. Cooler zones below and behind foliage. This isn't decoration. It's environmental design. Now let's talk about hydration. Chameleons rarely drink from bowls. In the wild, they drink dew and rain droplets off leaves. A misting system or regular hand misting recreates that natural pattern. When water collects on live leaves, your chameleon will instinctively drink. Drippers can simulate rainfall. Consistency is key. Too dry and dehydration sets in. Too wet and bacteria grow. Humidity should fluctuate naturally throughout the day. Morning mist. Gradual drying. Evening rise again. That rhythm mirrors their wild habitat. Substrate is another, but modern bioactive setups use soil layers, drainage systems, and beneficial microfauna like springtails and isopods. These organisms break down waste naturally. They create a miniature ecosystem. When done correctly, a bioactive enclosure reduces odor, supports plant health, and stabilizes humidity. But bioactive requires knowledge. Drainage layers prevent root rot. Proper soil composition avoids mold. Leaf litter supports microfauna life. This is gardening meets reptile science. Branches should vary in thickness. In the wild, chameleons move across uneven surfaces constantly. Providing multiple branch diameters promotes healthy foot muscles and grip strength. Natural wood, properly sanitized, adds realism and enrichment. And let's not forget visibility. A chameleon enclosure should never be placed in a high-traffic, chaotic area. They are observers, not participants. Too much movement causes stress. Position the enclosure at or above eye level. Chameleons feel safer when they can look down slightly rather than up at looming shapes. Feeding inside a living enclosure also changes behavior. Insects move differently among plants. Your chameleon hunts with more engagement. That stimulation is mental exercise. Gut-loaded crickets, roaches, and occasional hornworms provide variety. Supplementation with calcium and vitamins must be consistent but not excessive. Historically, one of the biggest mistakes keepers made was overhandling. Chameleons are display reptiles. They tolerate interaction but rarely crave it. Respecting their boundaries reduces stress and extends lifespan. Creating the ultimate live plant enclosure is not about aesthetics for YouTube. It's about welfare. It's about replicating the evolutionary blueprint that kept this species alive for millions of years. When you stand back and look at a fully planted enclosure, something changes. It doesn't feel like a cage. It feels like a window. A living slice of forest inside your home. Light filters through leaves. Water droplets cling to greenery. Your chameleon moves slowly, deliberately, confidently. And that confidence is the sign you did it right. Reptile keeping has evolved. We've moved from minimal survival setups to immersive environmental design. This shift reflects something bigger. We are learning to respect the ancient biology of the animals we care for. The chameleon's garden is not built in a day. Plants grow. Roots spread. Microclimates stabilize over time. Patience is required. But reptiles understand patience better than any creature. When your chameleon displays vibrant colors, steady appetite, strong grip, and calm posture, you know the environment is working. You're no longer forcing adaptation. You're supporting it. And maybe that's the deeper lesson reptiles teach us. Survival isn't about control. It's about harmony with the environment. If you're building your first enclosure or upgrading to a living bioactive jungle, remember this: you are not decorating glass. You are reconstructing